Happy New Year to you guys, by the way, people. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of the podcast. Returning back for another year of podcast. Obviously, last year we had 59 plus listeners have us as their top podcast up for the year, which is phenomenal. And we also expanded into 10 other countries while seeing a 14% growth across the board last year, I think it was. So we can't thank you guys enough for all the love and support that you guys have given us and that we've received. Thank you so much. I cannot stress enough how much I love having you guys just around and in the area for us and just helping out where you can. It's just really, really great. I really do appreciate it. So thank you for that. But as you guys see, doing improvements for this year, new upgrades. But today we have on today's session, we will be going over the first core set to drop with us in 2025, which is Supreme Darkness. For those who are unaware, we have some goals for the podcast that I want to kind of let everyone know about so we can create a better viewing experience for you guys, listeners, and all that. And then some of the drama that we've been seeing and I've been getting plugged into on Twitter and social medias out there. But before all that, as usual, let's get into these sponsored plugins. Please go down to our Linktree link down in the description box below. Click follow that link and follow all of our social sites. And we'll tap and pop up. And you can literally click whichever one that you are interacting with, and then go follow that, whatever it is. We appreciate that. We'll continue to do more giveaways as we usually do, and we get those accolades of 50 followers on TikTok, 100 on Twitter X, 200 on IG and Discord, and then 500 on YouTube. Also, shout outs to Amuck in New York for sponsoring the podcast. Be sure to join their Discord server down in the description box below. Be a part of their TCG community as well. You can go be part of the Yu-Gi-Oh one, the Magic, One Piece, whatever it is, as long as it is on cardboard, they got it there. Be sure to tell them that the boys over at Semi-Limited Sunshine. Be sure to hook you guys up. Also, be sure to catch Brad, aka Mr. Perfect, live streaming on Twitch every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This list will also be in our retreat link down below. It's right above ours. You can click on it and catch him doing some play testing, some crafting, theorying, whatever you guys want to see. He's usually down there doing it all for you, all night long, probably for at least 2 hours. But make sure to go to catch him on Saturday, which is every Saturday, at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's East Coast of the United States, for those who are outside of it. And also, before we start, I just want to give a huge shout out to Brad, aka Mr. Perfect, also to Logan JYA, Vengeful Shadows, Slim YGO, Team Saki, Fresh Off the Press, and our bros over at our sister podcast, Heart of the Podcast, and all the live streamers that we had for the last event of 2024, the live episode of the Semi-Limited Podcast. It was great. We had a great panelist. We brought hella guests out. We had not only streamers tuning in, but we had streamers for some of our panelists as well, which made for a killer show, even greater experience for us here on the pod. We were giving out OCS packs. We're having personal questions being asked. We have participants who tuned in live, also participate in OCS packs as well. We're going over some great topics. It was just a blast. We're just doing what Yu-Gi-Oh players do. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live for those who caught us. And I can't wait for the next one. I'm definitely going to not wait till next year to do it. I'll probably do something more like a halfway point. It does take a lot of work to prepare for them, but I'm down to do the work if you guys are down to participate. With that being said, and not that all that's in the past, let's start digging into today's episode where we're starting off with the next core set for the TCG players, as well as our first core set to kick off 2025, which is Supreme Darkness. Now, Supreme Darkness is a 101 card set that brings up new themes like the Mitsurugi and the Aerostars or Agro Stars, Argo, whatever they want to call them. And even supports for other themes and archetypes such as like Eldritch, Heroes, Speedroy, Tenyi, even Christian, because I know Trent would be mad if I didn't mention Tenyi. But all this is also included, as well as the third and hopefully last installment of the Mall Tournament series, which is Meow, which is the third one. This new card, like its other friends, allows you to draw cards every time your opponent special summons monsters, except for this one covers special summons from the banishment and the graveyard, not just the hand or the deck or extra like the other ones. And it's expected to be in high demand, so you can bet that basically people will be squabbling for this card, such as when basically when Fluoros and Borrelia were dropped, they were just kind of like, maybe not Borrelia at first, but it definitely caught on afterwards. But those were definitely like sought after cards. So this will definitely be the one for Supreme Darkness as well. Other archetypes are coming on our way, such as the Mitsurugi cards I have mentioned, which is basically like a reptile-based engine that utilizes tributing themselves and others to search themselves out of the deck, as well as the ritual monsters and ritual spell that they have, which is really, really cool because the ritual monsters allows you access to like a pseudo negate, which basically says that when your opponent activates a monster effect or something like that, your opponent has to discard a card, otherwise it is negated. So you can basically say that's a negate within itself. But you have that as well as a BP extender that allows you to bring back your fallen reptiles, basically that negate monster. Basically that negate monster, as well as other things. I would say like what is it? Feral Imp is another good card in that deck. Another bridge would be the Raziel archetype because they're playing rank 4, so you can easily go into duo drive or into the Feral Imp play just to search out both halves of your engine. So it's really cool. I want to see how it gets utilized. I don't think it'll be like a pure thing. It'll probably be like taking it with another archetype or something like that, maybe another engine. But I definitely want to see how that plays out because it's kind of like unique to say the least. It kind of reminds me of like a weaker voice, but you know that found its place somewhere too. So another good group of cards to look out for is the Argo Star. Now, for those who don't know, the Argo Star is a series of spell trap monsters that basically boost warrior type monsters while they're in the spell trap zone, and then they are also able to summon themselves as warrior monsters as well, so they can also come out to the field as monsters and then re-bench themselves or put themselves back to the back row from the front row if things get too heated in like the monster zone, like if getting too much crowded, or maybe some things are going on, they're like targeting to put back, or maybe you got a Raigeki coming, you can just go ahead and put your monster in the back row and then protect itself that way, which I think is really cool. I think that the Snake Eyes cards might utilize that as well. Just being able to bench monsters and being able to bring them out on your opponent's turn. I think, or that pack bed monster, that might be the same thing. So personally, I haven't seen any play with them myself, but I do plan on seeing some videos and checking them out to see if the deck is even worth picking up, or at least the engine, I should say, beforehand. But I also know for a fact I'll be picking up cards like Delta Temptation, which is like a direct Eldritch support card for as vaguely generic as it is. It's a field spell that basically allows you to dump a level 5 or higher zombie or fiend monster from your deck to your graveyard, which is great. It creates a generic free token. It's a zombie level 5/0/0, I think. But if you control a zombie or a fiend, you can just bring out a free token. And then it even adds itself, the field spell, back from the graveyard to your hand when a card is added from the graveyard to your hand. So you can activate it, dump Eldritch, use Eldritch effect to send it from the deck or from the field to the graveyard, add it back your Eldritch from your graveyard to your hand, and then because you added a card from your hand, you can then add the Temptation back from your graveyard to your hand to like be able to dump again on the next turn, or create a token on the next turn. You can only activate it once per turn, but it's still good to extend or get those plays going because it's just such a crazy card. So that's definitely going to be a card that I'm looking forward to at least playing or getting my hands on. I might get like 3 copies just for myself for Eldritch. I'm thinking about getting it for actual zombies, like Zombie World, but you know, I don't think I'll be able to foresee shoehorning it in there. But definitely Eldritch, that's getting that for me. So Pseudo may not be like the best set of the year, quote unquote, especially this early on, but it's by no means like a flop set. I definitely do your research before you go and invest any money or energy into like any of these cards. You want to make sure you're finding the right price point for them, and definitely make sure you're taking your time as well as finding out like what decks you're going to be applying them in, because that's also going to take account into how much it's going to be inflating or deflating. But get ready to snipe these cards when they finally get released to us, because there's going to be a couple key cards I think that might sit atop the set as time goes on. But also on the docket today, we have to go over some of the things that I plan on accomplishing for the podcast for 2025. Starting with, as you guys can see, getting you guys more visuals, period. For recordings, for podcast episodes, even down to like the videos and like short form content that I know we've been kind of slacking on, but like it's just a lot of work for people who don't know to kind of go in there and get it done. So it does add up when you're doing little things for not only yourself but other things and work and yada, trying to keep yourself sane. But I But I do plan on making sure that the team is running optimally enough to maintain these accolades for you guys. I know a lot of you, when I see you in person, are asking, hey, where are the shorts? Where's the series? Where's the perfect pulls? Well, it takes time to actually gather up these OTS packs for you guys, and it also takes time to make sure that we get a good video out for you guys. So we're going to be making sure that we stay as more video oriented as possible to make sure we get you guys some good visuals. I also plan on making sure that we give out way more giveaways to you guys. Like, even though, look, at first I'm gonna be more active on social media. Like, I should say that first. Like, I'm gonna be more active on IG with you guys, on Facebook groups, on Twitter, yada yada. I'll be getting involved. So we may not be able to get everyone involved in like the old giveaways that we had. We were only doing giveaways when we hit our accolades. But now I want to do a giveaway every month, regardless of what we hit. I want to be able to do basically, if we like once a month, if we do a giveaway, we'll just do a regular one, and then if we hit an accolade during that month, we'll do an extra giveaway. Maybe one sponsored through Unplugged or something like that. But even if we don't, I still want to make sure that we are giving away one thing per year. That's 12 giveaways that we're going to be having at the very least for 2025. Even if no one fucks with us or subscribes or ads, whatever it is, we're still going to make sure that we give back to the ones who are still supporting us. Like, I felt like we could have definitely been doing more for you guys who are still supporting, not the ones who are just trying to come in and get the clan rights for $3 or something, but the guys who are actually supporting the podcast, love the information, the rambunctiousness that we have here, appreciate the work that we got going on. So I want to give back to you guys more in 2025, and I'm going to make sure that we stay on that. So again, thank you all again for your continued support throughout these last few years. Like, this is a spur of the moment idea with a buddy of mine that grew into something way crazier than I thought it would ever be. So thank you guys so much. I've been learning so much, especially now with videos and OBS and streaming and all that stuff. We got this boomer going ahead and stepping into the real world. So I appreciate that, you guys, for sure. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I'm going to be trying to do as much as I can and work as hard as I can to make sure I get the best for you guys as well. So without that being said, I mean, I've been also, like I said, be doing more giveaways for you guys, but I just want to make sure that you guys know that we're going to be tying in and doing way more for you guys. For our last topic of the evening for today, I didn't want this to be a long episode, just to make sure to kind of get you guys introduced into the new year and the new things that we're going to be doing around here. But I just wanted to brush up on some of the drama that was going on YouTube and Twitter with the DB Grinder, for those who don't know, and his little antics, or should I say, like, the AI Grinder, according to the social comments out there. I don't even fucking know. So, Austin, aka DB Grinder, was recently dragged through the ringer online. So he basically, how do I put this? He just started pictures. So for those who don't know, on his community tabs, he has pictures of capybaras, and he's been doing capybara pictures for a very, very long time. And it just was something that he liked to use, and he would just put like things like going over replays or about to go live on Twitch or whatever it is. So he would just use pictures of capybaras. I don't know. He just did it. Eventually, YouTube or whatever it is flagged him because he was using photos that weren't his, and he had to basically give credit to the photos artist or stop using them. So he was getting his name dragged through the mud when he started to use AI generated capybaras instead of the regular pictures of capybaras. Now, this was a little bit odd because he admitted that he was using GPT, whatever, to create these new AI pictures. So these are all AI generated, and he caught a bunch of backlash for it. People were in the comments saying that you're taking away from artists, that AI is dirtier than you think it is, it's not the wave, you guys are robbing, it's a theft, you should just be crediting your artists and stuff like that. If you're gonna go use their pictures, you should be giving them credit somewhere on it. It was a whole big deal. He then went on to explain that his switch to AI was due to YouTube flagging the pictures because they weren't real. He didn't have the permission, which to me it's a fair point. It's an actual point, like especially when he's not making money off of any of these community posts advertising it. Especially when he's saying to join him in a different app. He said, I understand you don't want to spend money on something that's not going to make you money, but he has since that day gone back to using real photos since one of his followers actually brought him a solution instead of just complained about the issue with no plan on how to fix it like most other people do. But Austin later said that he was linked onto a site that has free-to-use photos, which allow him to be amended or add on to them without getting a strike penalty for plagiarism or any of that dumb shit. So he eventually went right back to using old photos, and people started calling him the AI grinder when he was using these AI capybara pictures and just typing in like capybaras playing poker or capybaras on top of each other or some shit like that. It was just generic shit, but they were calling him the AI grinder, and I thought that shit was hilarious. But I mean, that really wasn't all either. That wasn't the only piece of drama he had, because later on in the week, Austin basically took to Twitter to apparently let off his authentic thoughts or emotions or whatever the fuck he wanted to do. He got it all off his chest, which I don't think was a good idea if we look back upon it. So DB Grinder was on Twitter. There was a Twitter post, I guess, between him and eventually a back and forth between him and Jessica Robinson. So for those who don't know, that's Sunseed Jess over in the European circuit. She's very famous for bringing Sunseed Avalon to the forefront over there. Now everyone plays fucking Plant Link because she's just goated with the sauce. So they were going back and forth, I guess, over Twitter, and it just grew more and more arrogant by the second. This is what the thread said. So I can't tell you exactly what was going on beforehand, but DB responded to someone saying, "I enjoyed watching you lose in the remote YCS. You really got mad over a Yu-Gi-Oh match the same way you're getting mad over a capybara pick. LMFAO. Some people only top remote tourneys, and we all know why." Jessica responded, "I didn't really expect anything from someone who doesn't give a shit if he makes people uncomfortable because he needs a place to piss, quote unquote type shit. But this is low. Thanks for hearting comments in your YouTube shitting on me with false information, by the way." DB Grinder then responds with saying, "I heart every comment I read, LMAO, and I've been using the women's bathroom longer than you, and it's not a single person has been uncomfortable with me in there. People on the internet, yip, 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 yap, yap, and yip." Go back to his illustrious. So this was a little bit more striking just due to the fact that he's not only saying that he's using the opposite sex's bathroom in public, but he's also using it as a slur or a slander, because for those who don't know, Jess is identifies as a woman, so he's also taking like a slight at her like gender or how she identifies or whatever it is, but he's taking a personal attack at it. It's like, I don't know about y'all, but like this just seems like a little bit too much to me. Like comments and jabs at people as a person are just not needed. I don't tolerate that shit. Personally, I don't allow people to attack someone's integrity or like them as a person because of just an outside influence. I don't care if you're a good player or a bad player. None of that makes any bit of a difference to if you're a good person or a bad person. So you can come at someone outside of Yu-Gi-Oh all you want, but only talk about Yu-Gi-Oh while we're in the Yu-Gi-Oh platform. Like you're talking about my skill, my mindset, my lines of play, whatever. But the second you come at my race, ethnicity, sex, you come at my wife or something like that, you're coming at my people or my heritage, myself as a person, you best believe I'm clapping back, and it's not going to be no internet shit. But we'll also see if he's still laughing, because allegedly he's going to get poked up by the infamous Orlando Stabber that seems to have been taking a liking to the DB Grinder after they also had an exchanging of words that left him rather mad as well. But that's for another episode. I mean, long story short, he basically got into a fight with someone. They said they were going to fight him IRL. The guy said, "I'm going to stab you IRL." And then DB Grinder laughed about it, and the guy said, "Yeah, it won't be so funny when I'm stabbing you." So it was a whole big deal. His Discord is a mess right now. So that's for a different episode, though. We'll go back and touch on that later on. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit about how things are going to be going from here on out. With all that being said, we're starting to run all out of life points. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking out this episode. We will be going through and doing way more future for the rest of this year, so be sure to check on out and stick around with us to see what shenanigans we get into and how we can give back to you guys as well. With all that being said, our life points are officially out. I am Player X, and you have been listening to the Semi-Limited Podcast. Thank you so very much.